take the greatest priority in the provision of air navigation services. The Nigerian Airspace Management Agency is an air navigation service provider with a mandate to manage the Nigerian airspace to a level consistent with the requirements of the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO standard and recommended practices, and make it rank among the safest in the African and Indian region and indeed the world over. On this edition of the program, our focus is on the management systems and processes that ensure that all air traffic management activities carried out by this agency of government not only upholds the highest level of safety performance, but also put the mind of any air traveler at rest. This is Aviation This Week on Channels Television, and you're most welcome. I'm Bukola Joe Oketsumbi.
On the home front, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, the NCAA, has warned air travelers to desist from raising false alarm while on board an aircraft, as it is against civil aviation standards and recommended practices all over the world. This warning comes on the heels of the ugly incident of a false smoke alarm involving a passenger on board an Overland Airways scheduled flight from the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, to Ibadan Airport on Friday, February the 7th, 2014. However, the authority has expressed delight that most of the passengers on board were full of praises for the pilots and the crew following the professional manner in which they ensured a safe evacuation and pushed back the aircraft to the apron. The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority therefore wishes to assure all Nigerians that all necessary steps have been put in place to ensure a safe and secure air transport industry. Arik Air has announced that starting from March the 10th this year, it will add Cotonou to its daily route network by operating the Lagos-Dakar flight via Cotonou, the economic capital of Benin Republic. Similarly, Arik Air will also extend its daily Abuja-Accra service to Dakar. The two routes will be operated using the Bombardier CRJ-900 aircraft configured to sit 10 business class and 64 economy class passengers. On the foreign scene, we start with the not too bright news from India, where its air safety rating has been downgraded, with US authorities highlighting the erratic nature of growth in the sector. The decision of the United States Federal Aviation Administration to revise India's air safety oversight ranking from 1 to 2 has triggered a lot of reactions. Although the FAA insists India's aviation regulator needs to demonstrate that it understands the technology behind new aircraft and it has the resources to ensure airlines follow safe practices. A Category 2 rating indicates that a country lacks laws or regulations necessary to oversee air carriers in accordance with international standards, but that its Civil Aviation Authority, in India's case, the Directorate General of Civil Aviation, the DGCA, doesn't meet international standards in areas such as technical expertise, trained personnel, record keeping or inspection procedures, and that's according to the FAA. India is home to 1.2 billion people, and the South Asian country's aviation industry has boomed in the past decade, with carriers ordering more than $50 billion of new planes, including the most modern aircraft such as the Boeing 787. India had won the Category 1 rating back in 1997. From India to the 2013 passenger demand figures. The International Air Transport Association IATA has announced its full-year traffic results for 2013, showing a 5.2% increase in passenger demand compared to 2012. The 2013 performance aligns with the average annual growth rate of the past 30 years. Capacity rose 4.8% and load factor averaged 79.5%, up 0.4 percentage points over 2012. Demand in international markets, 5.4%, expanded at a slightly faster rate than domestic travel, 4.9%. Strongest overall growth, that's domestic and international combined, was recorded by carriers in the Middle East, 11.4%. The slowest growth was in the developed markets of North America with 2.3% and Europe, which has 3.8%. And on display for the first time at the Singapore Air Show, the A350, a brand new extra wide-bodied passenger jet, hasn't stopped being an attention grabber. Flying high above the Changi Exhibition Center, it looks sleek and maneuverable. Packed with flight testing gear, including the equivalent of 400 kilometers of bright orange testing cables, every inch of what happens when the plane is in the air is captured by equipment that feeds data live to Airbus headquarters in Toulouse, France.
The comments from the ground have been that it looks a really nice airplane and that it's extremely quiet, so that's not down to me, but that's down to the airplane, but it's been a really successful time. It'll be about 14 hours coming back. I think it will be the longest flight the airplane has done. We treat it just like a normal airline flight. In fact, there'll be 3 pilots on board, so each of us will get 3 or 4 hours rest at some stage during the flight. And actually, it's a good experience to be actually using the airplane as it's going to be used, flying the airways, which of course we don't often do during the test.
So far, 2 test planes have clocked 1,000 hours of flying time, some in extreme conditions. To date, the A350 has experienced the cold of northern Canada and the high altitude of La Paz in Bolivia. In the next few weeks, it will also conduct tests in the stifling heat of the Middle East. All 5 test A350s will have to fly for 2,500 hours before achieving certification.
So we believe we've got the standard for the future. The standard is a comfortable 18-inch seat, a quiet, reliable airplane with room to walk around like the A380.
The Airbus A350 XWB is a family of long-range, 2-engined wide-body jet airliners developed by European aircraft manufacturer Airbus. The A350 is the first Airbus with both fuselage and wing structures made primarily of carbon fiber reinforced polymer. It can carry 250 to 350 passengers in a typical 3-class sitting layout, or maximum sitting of 440 to 550 passengers, depending on variants. Finally, on the foreign scene, an Algerian military transport plane slammed into a mountain on Tuesday in the country's rugged eastern region, killing 77 people and leaving just 1 survivor. Air traffic controllers lost radio and radar contact with the US-built C-130 Hercules turboprop and dispatched helicopters to try to find it. The plane was discovered in pieces on Mount Fortas near the town of Ain Kashar, 30 miles southeast of Constantine, the main city in eastern Algeria. The military said in a statement that the plane carried 74 passengers and 4 crew members, blaming poor weather for the crash.
It's time to take a break. Aviation This Week will be back in a moment.
Insert India Zulu Yankee. Followed by India Zulu Yankee. Turn right. Confirm. Verify passing flight level 75.
Their voices are the voice of the safest airspace in the world.
Heading 260, descent to 550, just enjoy it 154.
From the moment of takeoff to the time you arrive your destination, highly skilled individuals are watching over you. In their world, There is no room for a mistake, a slip of tongue, or one moment of forgetfulness. For this reason, it's called one of the most mentally challenging jobs in the world.
Port Harcourt, standby estimate number 2. Eric 703 from Port Harcourt, standby estimate.
They are men trained to maintain the safe, orderly, and expeditious flow of air traffic in the global air traffic control system.
1013, stand by your main report.
Kano at 1630, surface winds 07007 knot, visibility 1000 meters in dust haze. No significant cloud 1013, 26 degree Charlie.
Controllers apply separation rules to keep aircraft at a safe distance from each other in their area of responsibility, whether in the air or on the ground. Air Traffic Control Service is also divided into Area Control Service, Approach Control Service, and Aerodrome Control Service.